This learning resource is designed to help you calculate a patient's nutrition risk score using MUST. Malnutrition is defined as a state of nutrition in which there is a deficiency or excess, imbalance, of energy, protein and other nutrients. Evidence suggests that the number of people who are undernourished is increasing. As healthcare professionals, you have a responsibility to identify patients at risk and develop an appropriate plan of care. For the purpose of this learning resource, we are using a patient in a hospital. However, the same principles of assessment apply in all healthcare settings. So, what is MUST? MUST stands for Malnutrition Universal Screening Tool. This is a screening tool that is validated to identify patients that are at risk of malnutrition. As the title suggests, the tool is universal and can be used across any healthcare environment. The healthcare staff should introduce themselves to the patient, asking what Mrs. Smith likes to be called, and explain what they are going to do.
Good morning, Mrs. Smith. Is it okay to call you Mrs. Smith?
Good morning, Nestle. You can call me by your first name.
And what's your first name?
Shirley.
Shirley Smith. Okay. Good morning, Shirley. I'm Yvonne. I'm the nurse that's going to be looking after you this morning. And if it's okay with you, I'd just like to complete your nutrition assessment.
That's fine, nurse.
Okay, thank you.
For this assessment, we need to ascertain the patient's weight and height. When calculating MUST, the patient first needs to be weighed in kilograms. Estimated or patient-reported weights should only be used when the patient cannot be weighed. Shirley weighs 68 kilograms. This is documented on the MUST tool. The second part of MUST is to measure Shirley's height in metres. However, this is not possible, as she is unable to stand up straight, which is important for obtaining an accurate height. Therefore, ulnar length is measured, and this is converted to height using the chart. The health professional needs to measure between the point of the elbow and the prominent bone on the left side. Using the table, based on age and gender, this measurement is converted to height. From Shirley's weight and height, we can now calculate her body mass index, BMI. There are two ways of doing this calculation. 1. Using a BMI chart. 2. Using a formula. Weight divided by height, in kilograms by metres squared, equals BMI. The BMI score is calculated as step 1 on the MUST screening tool. These assessments indicate that Shirley is of normal weight and has a score of 0 on the MUST assessment tool. The next section is very important, as weight loss is the best indicator of malnutrition.
Shirley, can I just ask, have you lost any weight recently that you know of?
In order to calculate their weight loss, their normal or usual weight is required. Shirley is not sure of her normal weight, but thinks that she has lost a little weight as she has not been eating too well recently. A number of patients will not be sure about their normal weight, so the following should be considered. 1. We could ask the family, friends or carers. Or 2. Review documentation if available. In addition, subjective measures to assess weight loss may be used. For example, ask patients if their clothes, belt or watch are loose. The healthcare professional has identified from the healthcare records that Shirley weighed 77 kilograms 4 months ago. There are two ways of calculating weight loss score: using the weight loss conversion chart or using the calculation previous weight equals 77 kilograms minus current weight, which equals 68 kilograms. 9 kilograms of loss. 9 kilograms divided by usual weight, 77 kilograms times 100, equals 11.7% loss. However, this has been rounded up to 12. The weight loss score is calculated as step 2 on the MUST screening tool. Shirley's score based on this is 12%, giving her a score of 2. This should be documented on the MUST screening tool. Step 3 is the acute disease effects score, which will either be 0 or 2. This section relates to patients who are acutely unwell, for example, those in critical care or those who have had a cerebral vascular accident, CVA, and have no oral intake for the past 5 days, or who are unlikely to eat for the next 5 days. Therefore, the majority of patients we see score 0, as they do not fit into this category. In Shirley's case, this would be 0. The health professional would then complete the documentation. To identify the overall risk of malnutrition, the scores from Step 1, BMI score, Step 2, weight loss score, and Step 3, acute disease effects score, are added together to give an overall risk of malnutrition score of 2 in Shirley's case. The health professional needs to implement the appropriate care plan based on the score. In the case of Shirley, with a score of 2 with a high score, the care plan should be based on the actions listed in the red box. Depending on her environment, the screening will be completed weekly in hospital or monthly if in the community.
Okay, Shirley, now that we've done the assessment, it does actually show that you are at risk of maybe losing more weight if we carry on like we are. So, what do you actually think your problem is?
Well, I knew I hadn't been eating as much, but I didn't realise I'd lost quite as much weight, so it shocked me a bit, really. So I think that the important thing is that perhaps I don't lose any more weight.
What shall we aim for? What do you think we ought to aim for?
Well, I think that my weight before I lost this weight that you mentioned earlier, I think that was right, because my clothes felt comfortable then, and I could wear my rings, so that's probably would be good. What do you think?
As a long term, we could aim for that.
That'd be good, I think.
But I think, that is quite a lot of weight to actually put on, and I think we need to do that, in sort of a control way. Yeah, so I think what we'll do is if I refer you to the dietitian, and then they can perhaps come up with a plan that we will put you step by step to see if we can put on a bit more and maybe go to 77, or maybe just don't lose any more. Are you happy with that?
I'm happy with that, yeah. I think I need a bit of help, don't I?
Following completion of the MUST score, a person-centred care plan needs to be developed with the patient, family and carers, and in conjunction with the management guidelines, Step 5, to support the patient's nutrition.